All right, so we have Eric Johnston here. Thank you for joining with me. Eric, and you were stating that you had already determined I was from Michigan, which I think that was funny in like two sentences of talking to you.
I think it was a half a sentence, and I'm like, "Where are you from? You're not from Sudbury. I know that accent." But yeah, so I've been to Michigan many times in my career. My 15-year comedy career, I've been through Michigan many, many times. So I
Perfect.
spot a Michiganite when I hear it.
Well, we're really Michiganders.
Michiganders, that's right. Sorry,
Michigander,
excuse me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about you coming to Sudbury, Friday, November 1st at the
hmm
Colson.
Yep.
You're going to be there. Now, you've been to Sudbury a lot, right?
Yeah, I made a promo video for the show today, and I estimated that I've probably done 50 shows in Sudbury over my career. I Sudbury was the first city to kind of give me my big first headlining tour date in 2015, so 9 years ago.
9 years.
I was about 5 years into comedy, and they took a liking to me and saw some of my stuff and took a risk and had me headline this very big show in Sudbury at an old church turned into a promotional theater space. And it was great, and I've just been going back ever since. And I was in Sudbury so much I ended up dating a girl from Sudbury. We've since long broken up, but it was good to have a person in Sudbury, really just a free place to stay. So I didn't have to spend money on hotels and lodging and food. I would just go up to Sudbury, see my girlfriend, do like 5, 10 shows, come home. And I was doing that every couple of weeks to every couple of months. So I've done quite a bit of shows in Sudbury in my career. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I know Sudbury is glad to have you coming back again. You're incredibly funny. We were just a little bit before we started recording, we were talking about the book that you wrote. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, this past February 1st, 2024, I released a book called Run with the Bull: Three Generations of Sports and Entertainment. The book is about my grandfather, Canadian Hall of Fame professional wrestler by the name of Bull Johnson, my father, Canadian Hall of Fame professional wrestler by the name of Bull Whip Johnson, and I'm Eric. I wrote a book about it, how their lives and deaths and lives in show business inspired me to get into show business, but not become a professional wrestler. Professional wrestling is all about storytelling, and the highs and lows of a match, and then you kind of can shape a professional wrestling match much like you can shape a stand-up comedy routine or a joke or whatever. So I fell in love with stand-up comedy, and I grew up in a very funny house, and everyone in my family was very funny, and they were all happened to be professional wrestlers. And I just thought, you know what, I don't want to put my body on the line like they did. I think I'm just going to do this stand-up comedy thing. And the book has done very well. It came out on February 1st, 2024. On February 2nd, 2024, it was an Amazon #1 bestseller on all
Wow.
platforms and categories across Amazon. So #1 in sports, #1 in sports humor, #1 in wrestling, #1 in comedy, Canadian, whatever, #1 in whatever. It was the top 5 book on Amazon for about 2 weeks. And millions of books get released on Amazon a day, so I just held on to #1 spot as long as I could, and then a whole, flooding of new books came in and knocked me out. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm probably 5,000th place now, but it was really cool to see the support and everyone come through and buy a copy. And I sell copies of the book at the show. I'll have many copies with me in Sudbury as well, and I sign them and sell them at the shows. And it's really cool because people get to see my hour of comedy and go, where did all this come from? Well, I go, well, as a matter of fact, here's where it all came from, and here's my entire life story up to now. So it's been a really cool kind of personal journey and just a really cool experience to write a book, and be an author. So yeah,
I can imagine that it is. And just
yeah.
to, pull pieces from your family history and have that be part of your show and part of your life and part of your act. And I think that's fantastic. Now, listening to you talk, if I close my eyes and I listen to you, I swear you have the perfect voice for radio. Have you ever been told that?
I get that a lot. I do a lot of voice-over acting work, a lot of commercial. I just did one for Cadbury Dairy Milk, and I've done quite a bit of that, and I do a lot of character voices and stuff. Yeah, I'm a big guy. I got a big barrel-chested guy, so I've got that deeper, register. But I can also be very expressive and very animated and stuff. So I think that works very well for radio and for voiceover, and especially for stand-up comedy. I
Yeah.
really keep people engaged when I'm up there, which is really the whole point of doing it. So yeah.
what you probably get asked this a lot, but I always enjoy asking cliche questions like this. But what is the thing that you love most about performing in front of an audience?
Yeah, I think it is just the audience. I love people. I'm a big people guy. Sometimes I don't want to see anybody, but most times I want to see a lot of people. And I just love stories. I love characters. Every town has a great storyteller and a great person, you see at the bar, maybe they drink too much, but they got great stories. And I grew up in a very character driven house. I also grew up in a very character driven neighborhood in Hamilton, Ontario, where everyone is hilarious. There are funnier people than me who are not stand up comics in my neighborhood. They work at the steel mills and they work construction or, they work in an office. And, I love going to a town and meeting the people. It's really like I sell merchandise after my shows and I do it, as a revenue stream, but I
Mhm.
really love standing there. A lot of comics will, higher up comics will not even be at their merch table. That's just the merch table. They got their girlfriend or whoever is just selling it, and that's it. As soon as I walk off stage, the first place I walk to is my merch table. And yeah, I'm selling
Mm.
stuff, and it should be
Yeah.
good that I'm there. But I love talking to people, especially when someone, my stand-up comedy. I do an hour 15 on stage, an hour and 15 minutes, and it's mostly stories about my life and the people I grew up with and my parents and my wife and I'm about to become a father, so there's a lot of that stuff that's worked its way into the act and seeing people relate to that is my favorite part. So a lot of my favorite parts about stand-up comedy ironically happen after the show, which is great. I have amazing shows. I'm doing some of the best comedy I've ever done in my entire life right now. My show is so tight and there's so much new, exciting stuff in it. And I love doing it and then just being able to be back and be a guy. Because on stage, I'm an extremely exaggerated version of myself. If you've seen some clips or if your
Mhm.
viewers will see some clips, it's very big and animated, which I am. But when I come off stage, I can kind of settle to kind of the more natural version of myself and just have conversations with people and I love it. And that is my favorite part, hands down, about doing stand-up comedy. It is the people. So yeah.
I love hearing that. I always enjoy when people enjoy people and learning stories and just getting to know people and hear a little bit about them. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it, and we're excited to have you come on Friday, November 1st at the Colson. Tickets can be purchased through sudburyperformance.ca, but also through your website. You want to
Yeah.
shout it out?
EricJohnstonWho.com. Eric with a C, Johnston with a T, WHO.com. Go to the stand-up section, click on the ticket links, and Sudbury's there, as well as all the other shows I'm doing in Northern Ontario and across Canada. But right now, Friday, November 1st,
Yeah.
at the Colson, downtown
Yes.
Sudbury.
There was that radio voice. Perfect.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Thanks.